And what a start to the Premier League season. Manchester City 2-0 winners. Let's have a word on our supporters first, shall we, Brownie? Absolutely incredible.
Well, no wonder. What a performance under a little bit of a cloud. First game of the season, wonder how you're going to get on. Everybody not trained. This is what it means to these supporters. Everything as the players start to drift over. But what a performance. Tough place to come. New manager Chelsea. Players trying to set the tone. But this is what it's all about. The Premier League's back, FG.
And I think if anyone wonders whether the supporters are getting complacent, they're absolutely not, because they were making noise all throughout the game. And let's head on to the game. That man, Erling Haaland, 100 games for Manchester City, 91 goals.
Do you know what? You hadn't seen him for much in that first half, and all of a sudden, that's what he does. Comes to light, that touch on the edge of the area. And I thought he'd run out of space, FG. I thought he couldn't do it. And all of a sudden, he does that little reverse dink over the goalkeeper. Really, really top finish. And then that set it. It gave the team something to build on, something to get after. And then it was, they had to find it. No, something to grind out second half, and they did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so nice to see Phil back. He's giving his shirt to a fan who's got a Phil Foden sign. Great to see him back. Great to see him get 45 minutes as well.
Well, that's what I mean. You know, the youngster there going off happy. The players have that feel with the supporters like no other club, FG. It's always the supporters and the players, always together wherever possible. But we must mention the whole team, the whole squad there supporting. And let me tell you, that whole bench, right in front of me in commentary, when Kovacic scored that goal, they were all up. It was a brilliant goal. Top performance from him in a different role. Look at that, Rico Lewis as well, brilliant.
And the young man, rightly so, getting the applause that he deserves. Fantastic performance from him. He plays like he's played the game for years and years. And I guess when you've got somebody like Kyle Walker next to you, who he always is so vocal about being supportive to.
Look at that.
It makes sense. And then you can see the boss as well.
Yeah, the boss is driving it on, isn't he? He's getting Rico Lewis, he's getting everybody over. He wants to set a statement to everybody, and these supporters, we're here. We want 5, FG. We want to do it. And that's what they've set today. Big performance, that, because I felt like it was a tough game, and we're off and running.
We absolutely are off and running. It's so nice to see the supporters being appreciated, and even the supporters appreciating this team. This is special times for this football club, and I'm pretty sure watching this there'll be City fans around, my dad included, who's in the away, and just thinking, wow, what have we done to deserve this? As another
Rico showed his new body off that he's been working off over the summer. Come on, give us a look, Rico.
There's a few
he's done a bit there,
right?
He's done a bit as he pops the shirt off. Really, really well played. How level-headed is he, FG?
Yeah.
Do you know, for the maturity that he shows straight away in his performances, he had some good one-on-one battles, recovery runs. They tested him over the top of his shoulder, and he realised he had to be on. He tried to join in midfield positions. They put another one there. He dealt with that. Then another good performance.
Good performance for Manchester City. 1 win out of 1. We've won the game that we didn't win last year. And, of course, our away supporters were absolutely incredible. Brownie, it's been a pleasure, mate. Next up, Ipswich at home. See you there.
Thank you, FG. Thank you, Brownie, as well. Brilliant stuff from building up to the game to then that final piece there as well in front of the away fans who were in fine voice, and great to see that appreciation and that moment there of Pep and the team. Clive, it's something that we always come back to with this team in particular, but the togetherness and the tight-knitness of the team. I know it's only small there, but you can really see it and feel it. And I guess in contrast to a Chelsea team who are gelling and, you know, there's a lot of new players coming in, you can see maybe that's where it gives you those extra couple of inches when you need it, particularly when you're coming back for the first game of the season.
Absolutely. A start of the season where you see that united group, that group that's so together, working for each other, whether you're in or out, whether you come on, you come out. Everybody's playing their part. I think they understand that. They feel that real connection with the supporters is so important. Really in complete contrast to that of Chelsea. You could see too many individuals, they're not together and they don't perform. But City were outstanding today. It was a test for them. You didn't know what you were going to get with Chelsea, but what we saw was what City are all about. Really, really consistent. I think the way that they performed, the manager, you can see, he's got a smile on his face. He's happy with that start.
As am I, and as I'm sure all Manchester City fans are, as is the big man as well. He opened the scoring, Richard, and it was mentioned there by FG. So that is, 91 goals in 100 games. I think it also works out around it's either a goal or an assist every 74 minutes for that man in the City shirt. I know we kind of are just repeating ourselves, but it's frightening, and what a way to kick off the season as well for him.
Yeah, and in terms of the Premier League, the numbers are unheard of, what he does every week. And he is the ultimate number 9. He doesn't really bother if he gets involved in the build-up play or he's getting loads of touches of the ball. He just does his job, and his job is to score goals, and there's nobody better than him. He's frightening. I played against Alan Shearer, who's the top scorer in the history of the Premier League, and he was that type of player. He just wanted to score goals. He wanted to sniff them out. And Haaland's the exact same. They just want to score. That the whole sort of being is just focused about how many did you score at the weekend, and that's the way they seem to be. So he's fantastic. He's done it in Germany. He's done it in the Premier League, and he's been an unbelievable asset to the club. He's a fantastic footballer.
Really, really is. Maybe a little word as well, Clive, on that young man there we just saw. He also got a lot of appreciation. Rico Lewis. Obviously, we're usually seeing Kyle Walker there, but the way he played today, for his age as well. I think Richard, you said as well, he was one of the first back to come back training after the summer break. He really does make City tick, doesn't he? And I thought he was brilliant today.
Absolutely, and not only in the role of right back. We know that he can play in many positions. A massive asset to the squad. I think you can see the manager appreciates not only his performance today, but what he's giving the team and giving the squad of players. He's young, he's energetic, he's hugely talented, and he's shown that this afternoon.
Second half, we came out, it was 1-0. Chelsea had a goal disallowed, rightly so, because the player Jackson was offside. Wasn't quite easy, weathered the storm fairly well, I thought, Richard, in those 60, 70 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, you would have expected more probably from Chelsea to come out here and get at you a little bit more, but City just had the control of the tempo. They killed the game. They've got the experienced players, and any time there was a threat, you've got solid defenders. 1v1 defending, they won every duel. They were just really good, and it just gives the rest of the team a base to go from. And I think as a team, when you're chasing a goal and you're getting absolutely no joy, whether you get on the right, the left, or through the middle, you're just getting snuffed out at each occasion. In the end, it demoralises you, and you start to commit a little bit more, and the spaces start to open up. They made changes, took Lavia off, which we said he had a really good game.
Fantastic.
And then, yeah, as the game progressed, then Kovacic was who took advantage of them big gaps in midfield.
So let's speak. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you talk about the way you go about winning games. Obviously, it's always about the goals you score, but there are moments in games where as defenders, you have to make a block at crucial times where chances are created and you make important interceptions. Diaz, on 2 or 3 occasions, made some fantastic blocks, defensive positions where Chelsea threatened, but they wasn't going to concede. They wasn't going to give in, and those moments are just as important as Erling's goal.
Yeah, and it really felt that in the second half, focusing on that defence, and it's frightening, isn't it, Richard? We speak about that depth, but you look on the bench, Nathan Ake on there, Kyle Walker, John Stones. So we know we've got the depth there, but the 4 that were on the pitch today, I'd say they were the ones that kept us in it in that second half, weren't they?
Yeah, they were outstanding, as they always are, and there's a real passion to not concede goals at Man City, to defend and do your job, and everyone praises all the lovely football and the passing and the movement, but the passion that they put into defending, like for a defender, I love watching it, because they should celebrate what they do, because they work so well together, they get stuck in, they do what they can, and they do it correctly, and it's just a real joy, and without that, you can't enjoy the rest of it. You need that base there, and you can trust them, whoever it may be, the ones you set on the bench or the ones that started today. You can trust that every single one of them will do their job right every week, and it's brilliant.
It's fantastic. I've loved Gvardiol as well today. 6 points as well from a fantasy football. Lovely stuff. And Richard, you mentioned it there. We were kind of needing that second goal. I still feel like we probably would have, with that defence, kept Chelsea out. But if there was a man that deserved it, filling in arguably the biggest boots in world football in Rodri, an amazing performance from Kovacic. He obviously got his goal, 6 tackles, basically 97 pass success rate. He also had 2 clearances and he turned up with that all-important second goal.
Yeah, the second goal closed the game out, but I thought his overall performance in the role that he was given was excellent. He was pretty much faultless in the way that he was concentrated, he was disciplined in obviously the position that he had to keep, the way that he fed the ball, and then I think the time he scored his goal, it was the furthest forward he'd got in the game, but he took it brilliantly. He used the defender as a screen and he whips it back into the near post. The goalkeeper, although he gets a hand on it, probably doesn't see it till late, but that just completely closed the game out. An excellent performance.
And we saw so many of those. It's kind of almost his speciality, is those driving runs forward with the ball. We're so used to seeing it usually from, you know, the edge of the D, as you say, but we saw it in pre-season, and that drive on, it's so difficult, I guess. I mean, you saw he went past maybe a bit too easily, but Caicedo and Enzo far too easily. I mean, made them look like they weren't even there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's about picking your moments when to do it. You don't do it early on in the game, and you see Kovacic early on. It's 1 and 2 touch pass and trying to get control of the game, and then the opportunities will always arrive later on in the match. And I think it's almost cheeky to call him the understudy because he's that good a player.
Yeah.
He's a first-team player, a starter in his own right, and even when Rodri's back, Kovacic will still start games and still play games. He's going to be a hugely important member of the team and the squad for the season.
Absolutely brilliant stuff there. I think he got one of the matching commentary as well. Now, before we do a quick look ahead to our first Premier League home game of the season, cannot wait for that. We're going to do a quick look at our possession game. So we are this season asking all our guests, if you're on Matchday Live, to try and guess the amount of possession Manchester City will have in the game. The closer you are, the less points you have, and those who have the less points at the end of the season will be the winner. So we guessed, well, we had Richard, you said 60% possession, Clive 58, I went with 55, and City finished the match with 52. 52%, so that means 3 points for myself, 6 for Clive and 8 for Richard. We were saying at half-time, Clive, I mean, we were down, I think that we were like in the 40s and Chelsea had it, so what we needed from City was getting that control back, and then case in point, it happened in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. You could see that. The way that they dictated the game, there were times when they had to keep the ball, and they did. Still looking to break lines with forward passes, but I thought it was an outstanding control to the game in the second half, which, as you say, I never, ever felt Chelsea were going to score, and a 2-0 result was a true reflection of the game.
Looking ahead then, so Ipswich are who we have next. Make sure you join us as well. I'm so excited. I'll be bringing you the show from the Etihad Stadium. Newly promoted, had a fantastic season in the Championship. They lost in their opening game to Liverpool, Richard, but I thought for the first half, maybe even first 60 minutes, they gave a great account of themselves. I had them as the better team than Liverpool in the first half as well at Portland Road.
Yeah, the manager's got real big praise for what he's done over the last couple of years, getting a double promotion and then coming into the Premier League. And he's got a style of play which suits his team. It suited what they've done for 2 years, and it's just whether they can tweak it a little bit to survive in the Premier League, because it is a complete different beast from being down in those in the Championship. But it's such a tough start for them, Liverpool at home and Man City away, and you would expect that the results won't go their way, but the performance yesterday was good, and you'd expect they'll come to City, try and give it a go, put in a good performance, gain confidence from that sort of thing. And it's the rest of the games where their focus is going to be. But for City, for a home game, it's brilliant. It's a good opportunity to play that flowing football, to go and attack a team and hopefully get a couple of goals.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the Championship, I don't think the Ipswich fans saw them lose at Portman Road, but it just goes to show that gulf. And it did really feel like it was just those last 15 minutes. You see that difference in quality from the Championship, and I felt that's all it was with Ipswich. But they've got a whole season ahead, I feel.
Yeah, they'd have learnt a great deal from the Liverpool game. Yeah. Obviously, they were bold, they were brave, almost went man for man in the early stages. Liverpool eventually wore them down with some real quality play. Whether Ipswich can maintain that over 90 minutes in every Premier League game. Kieran's a very, very bright young manager. I'm sure he's going to analyse it. He will look at the things they did well, things where they will need to tweak. But yeah, the most difficult of starts, obviously Liverpool at home, City away in the first two. But I think they will surprise a few teams this season in the Premier League.
I agree. I mean, it was a baptism of fire for them. But we know, Richard, as well, I mean, as much as we're saying, okay, buzzing for City to have that as the first home game. They'll still have to turn up and do the business, and no doubt the big man as well will be licking his lips to get a few goals, hopefully.
Yeah, and that's where City have been brilliant. I think one of the people were speaking about the record against the top six wasn't amazing last season, but 26 wins out of 28 games against the rest is massive. That's so important. And anytime newly promoted sides come to the Etihad or City go there, normally they'll do the job and they'll beat them, and it'll be comfortable for them. So you would expect the professionalism in that squad, an extra week's training, more players coming back to sharpness. It'll be hopefully another victory.
Absolutely. Well, gents, it's been an absolute pleasure. We're going to leave you Manchester City fans with a very special VT celebrating the big man's 100th appearance in a Manchester City shirt. I want to say a massive thank you to you all for watching. Thank you to Clive. Thank you to Richard. And I'll be with you next week. Remember, Matchday Live is with you every step of the way this season. I will see you next week, and we are going to be celebrating Bahia. They are, of course, where we have our Brazilian team. Last year we had Carnival, and we're going to be doing it again at the Etihad. So if you're down and around, come on down. There is going to be festivities all over the Etihad and celebrating Pride as well. But until then, enjoy your evening. Have a wonderful week. Thanks again to my guests, and thank you to you. Good night.
Wherever you are, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, hold your breath. Haaland hits the back of the net! Can you believe it? Of course you can believe it. It's Erling Haaland again.
I think this is a very clever signing for Manchester City.
Brilliant signing, it really is, not just for Man City, for the Premier League. I think we're all intrigued to see how he'll do. He's him and Mbappe almost feel like the next two superstars.
Erling Haaland will not live up to the expectation because he isn't the player that everybody thinks he is.
Into the gap. Too good for anybody else on the park. Hat-trick Haaland.
You have Haaland, he's a big physical presence which gives you a vocal point, then people can play off you.
Who do they turn to? The big man, Erling Haaland. You are one hell of a player.
I'm a striker, I love to score goals, but my focus is not on scoring goals, it's about getting the chance, so that's what I'm trying to focus about.
Haaland, will he score? You bet he will! Grealish, classic wing play, and Haaland buries it. Now Haaland scores.
Job done, yeah.
I want to have fun. When I have fun, I score goals, I smile, I enjoy playing football and everything, so in the end I just hope to smile a lot.
Few to match the striking Viking.
Alfie Haaland needs that, of course, watching on. He inevitably has scored for the Blues.
He's just there. He's relentless. He's everything he does is just with intensity and aggression.
He's goal hungry. He's hunting records.
When I score a goal, and still, it's this feeling and also this kind of when you celebrate your first goal, it's like, it's not what to do again, I get this often, scoring one. Imagine doing this again.
Erling Haaland keeps doing what Erling Haaland does, breaking records in what is now the most prolific season in Premier League history.
He's the best striker in the world.